You got me?
We got you there, Jimmy.
I'm
We
here.
got you. All right. Well, weird. It says live, and then it also says starting. So I'm going to assume we're live here, folks. I see an indication up here in the top right. This is, excuse me, you're live. I have some qualms with this button saying starting ... but I'm going to go with the live. You are in the Freedom Lab. I'm GM at Peaceful Media, and I'm with my homeboy, my friend from the other side of the nation over there in Atlanta, Georgia. His name is Jimmy Farris. He is an ex-NFL superstar. There's all sorts. Everybody who makes it to the NFL is a superstar. I don't care if you're on. I don't care if you never make the field, if you never catch a touchdown, if you never throw a game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. You are a freaking superstar. Oh, cool. Weird.
We on?
No. Post publicly. Or we are. This hangout is on air live. I don't know what's going on with tech today, but it says we're live now. So I'll reintroduce just in case this is the true beginning. I'm Jason Allen Miller, JM at Peaceful Media. I'm with my homeboy, Jimmy Farris. We are on a mission here over the next, what do we have, Jimmy? 29 more episodes. This is episode 4 of 33. And at 33, we have a 6-figure online business. For Jimmy, we are taking his offline thought leadership business, his coaching business, into the online sphere so that he can create more freedom, so that he can have more time to do what he wants, so that he can touch more lives, so that he can reach people all the way across the world and maybe up into space pretty soon. Thank you, Elon Musk. All right. So, Jimmy, today the topic is, the general topic here is the place I want to get this today is where we're really clear on when someone lands on your homepage of your website.
Right.
They know let me actually put a little sticky note on this. At this phase, we have determined what that person is going to experience in terms of resonance. They're going to know that this place is specifically for me. So we, as an extension of episode 3 and 2 to some degree, we're taking your brand and positioning and making you a flagship entry point product and brand and motif, if you will, that connects with a certain segment of an audience that is looking for results. Because as we talked about in episode 3, we can't just put, I help you get results. You are in every product and service out there is your competition at that point, because everything is supposed to get you results.
Yeah, it's a crappy field.
It's a crappy field to be in, man.
It's crowded.
What's up?
I said it's a crowded field.
Oh, and it's crappy because you make no money. You get no traction.
Crappy.
It's crowded with a bunch of people that crap all over their face. And a lot of people holding their pockets out going, I got nothing. So this is the life coaching, the success coaching consultants person's plight. They want to get people results because they're talking to people about everything and anything. When they actually get on a phone call and start coaching, it goes everywhere. But when it comes to positioning, we have to decorate that door with what our segment believes they need. And then once they get inside, it's like, hey, homie, we got all sorts of little things over here we can talk about. You want to go in the living room and talk about your love life? Or do you want to go up in the office and talk about your business? Or you just want to go in the backyard and talk about your connection with nature and meditation? So once they're in that door, then it's your fun time suite, your playland. But if someone's driving past your place, Jimmy, I was telling you about this yesterday. If someone's driving past your place and you have a shingle up there that says, I help you get results, what are you going to do? You're going to go, what the hell is that? Okay, interesting. And drive on. Because you have no idea if that's for you, right? But if you're driving by and you go, I help you find the love of your life and create a dynamic, connected relationship that feels like it's on fire every single day. Oh, okay. In one sentence, I've taken one step further into the understanding of what results this house is going to help me get. That makes sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's I always kind of look at it like a sporting goods store, right? Like you walk in there looking for something specific, but like you said, you get in there and you realize there's so many different products and different things that may actually meet your needs or be something that you can use. But there's got to be something specifically that you're going there for. You have to be looking for something specific. And, I think that's one of the things maybe that I've been struggling with a little bit, just kind of finding exactly what that entry point product or service is that's going to say, this is what, I do that's different from Brendan or Tony or any guy as you go down that tier as it gets wider and broader.
So on that note, you sent me a text over, I think over the weekend saying, dude, you have to watch this new documentary from Tony Robbins. I see my vision. This is so me, right? And so what I don't want to do is toss a vision in hopes of crystallizing a specific brand, the specificity of your branding and messaging. We keep that vision, absolutely, because you're going to be there. It's just that we want some low-hanging fruit here. We only have 33 weeks, and many people have a lot less than that. Maybe they've lost their job. Maybe, hey, Paula, happy to be here. Yeah, so maybe you've lost your job. Maybe you're completely fed up with that job that you're in right now, or you're having another kid or something. You need to create some freedom. And that was my excuse. I need freedom so that I can spend more time with my new daughter, right? So in order to get that quickly, we need some low-hanging fruit. And it's usually your background, your story, your unique experiences in life that flavor and create that flavor of success coaching or mental toughness coaching that nobody else or fewer people at least can touch. So, Jimmy, unless you have any notes, I'd love you to jump into your fourth mental toughness principle while I fill up my water because I'm getting a little dry mouthed. And oh, by the way, before you get going, Jimmy, everyone in the chat, go ahead and say what up. This is the live experience, so you get to ask questions. If you're watching this on replay, then please come over to peacefulmedia.com/freedom and just sign up for free, register for free, and get in on the interaction here. We'll put out polls, we'll put out questions to you guys so you guys can answer your questions about building your online business. Jimmy, take it away with mental toughness principle number 4.
So the principle I want to talk about today is this idea of evolving from competing to creating. And what that really means is kind of that evolution from always comparing yourself to other people and, looking at what other people are doing, which is something that I'm kind of in the process of doing, right? Like Jason said, I look at these guys like Brendan Burchard, Tony Robbins, and other experts and thought leaders, and I'm comparing myself to where they are and where I'm at or where I'm not at more accurately. And, this is a bad rut and a bad habit to get into, to constantly compare yourself to other people and compete with them, in their space. We want to evolve to a mindset or a consciousness of creating, right? This is where the world-class level consciousness is at. When you kind of evolve to a level of consciousness where the only competition is you. You're looking in the mirror every day saying, how can I be better? It's kind of that you versus you paradox, right? It's also along the lines of Maslow's hierarchy, self-actualization. How can I be my very best? How can I offer my best gifts, put myself out there as the best version of myself? Not how do I compare to Tony, or how can I put something out there that's similar or that competes with something that Brendan might talk about? this has got to be something unique coming from you. How can I be my best? You know, we look at people in public right now. I'll give you a perfect example of the difference here. Somebody who's in the public eye big time right now, a guy like Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump operates from a mindset of competition. He's always trying to beat the next guy. He won the nomination for the Republican Party, and he's still talking about how badly he beat people in the primary, how badly he's going to beat Clinton in the general election. I've got more money. I'm a billionaire. I'll beat you. I'm the best. I'm the greatest. I'm the best. I'm one of the greatest. You know, it's this idea of constant competition with people. And, you know, I'm a competitive guy, but at some point you have to evolve to a consciousness and a mindset where you're not looking at what everybody else is doing and whether you know, stepped on them to climb up the ladder or what. You are trying to be the very best version of yourself and put the very best out there that you can put out there. And that's really that world-class level of consciousness. There's so much to be gained from that mindset. And, you know, it can be a tough evolution, but when you get there, you know you're there. And when you see people or encounter people that are there, you know that they're there. You'll never hear somebody like Bill Gates or Warren Buffett talk about who they've got more money than. You'll never hear one of those guys go on TV and say, oh, I've got more money than Donald Trump. What's he talking about?
Right.
They just don't operate in that space. They're thinking, Bill Gates is thinking, gosh, I've got all this money. You know, what problem in the world can I solve with it? You know, he's trying to be the best he can be and make the biggest contribution to the world. And that is a mindset and a consciousness of creating. He wants to create greatness within himself and in the people that he touches.
Yeah, man. And so perfect. Let's tease up this concept of we want to create a space of our own with our market, with your market, right? We want to create a space that so few people can play in, or they just don't have the experience or capacity to play in your field, right? This is your own playing field and you own it. And there's a few other people sitting there on the sidelines trying, but you dominate because it's so in alignment with where you've been. It's not even close to being a stretch for you based on what you've done in your life. And there, I mean, to illustrate that, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people out there right now, thought leaders, experts, making 7 figures a month, and you've never heard of them. They aren't on New York Times best-selling lists. They aren't on the big stages. They might not have ever even done a local television show, but they're crushing because they've built a massive tribe and following in a very, very niche space. That's why the whole get rich in a niche concept came forth.
We know what's funny is I always use like Tony and Brendan kind of as examples because in the moment, those are like the only 2 guys that really come to mind.
Right.
You know, it's crazy. You know, I could talk about my mentor, Steve Siebold, being a guy that's exactly what you're talking about. You know, Steve with Mental Toughness University deals, you know, almost strictly with corporations behind closed doors in closed settings, doesn't put a lot of stuff out on YouTube, very rarely, you know, puts out any type of video about mental toughness stuff. It's just not the space that he wants to be in. And, you know, people don't realize, like, you know, Steve is a 7-figure speaker. He makes over $1 million a year just in speaking fees. He makes another couple $1 million a year in consulting with big companies and, you know, corporations. But, you know, if you're not in that world, you don't know that name. You know, if you haven't read his book, you don't know that name. And so it's a perfect example of what you're talking about. I mean, there's hundreds and probably thousands of speakers and coaches and consultants and thought leaders out there that are killing it that we don't know who they are. And sometimes it's because they don't want to be. Like I said, I mean, you know, it's not for Steve, it's not his goal to be known in the public market as a thought leader like that. He wants to deal in corporate, and he's the best, you know. So
right. All right, so let's get down into the dirty. You were going through the BPA, and some things came up for you. I'm envisioning the payoff here is that I'm envisioning that first, we call it a masthead in a website, that homepage masthead, as a statement about what you are and who you're speaking to, basically, and an image behind it that communicates the same thing. And so one of the things you brought up in your BPA we were talking about yesterday is interesting question here about mental toughness, Jam. Can you kind of speak to that?
Yeah, what was it specifically that you were? Was it about the kind of that contrast between me saying how I wanted people to feel about me, that it was like connected, engaged, warm, versus the way mental toughness is perceived? Is that specifically what you're talking about?
Yeah. When you put, what do you consider your top 5 core values? No, it's not that one. It's another one where you're listing like 5 words that describe our brand.
Yes.
And they all were like, in the whole masculine, feminine energies, it was very much a feminine thing, which I adore and honor and respect about you and myself. Well,
so here's the thing. I mean, look, I really believe that, I'll give you an example. I'm listening to the High Performance Academy videos that I got from Brendan's deal. And he talks about how, psychology for years has always talked about, pain points, right? Like identify the pain and, how much pain can somebody tolerate before they make a change. And he's like, I don't think we really need to go there. Like we can focus on the good. We can focus on the positive, right? I've talked to a lot of people who, on a kind of a call to decide if my coaching is right for them. They'll say, gosh, is this stuff just really tough? Like, I don't do well with, like, I don't want to be yelled at. I don't want to be, I don't want something quite like that. Like, is it? And here's the deal. Mental toughness coaching, just to be specific about mental toughness, it is tough. It can be tough. And it, coaching calls and coaching sessions can get contentious sometimes. And that's because sometimes, just like any parent, any advisor, any counselor, any mentor understands, sometimes there's just got to be that element of tough love. Sometimes you just got to tell people something that they don't want to hear. They always say the truth hurts. Well, sometimes when somebody's like, look, dude, you're fucking up, they don't want to hear it, but it's tough and it needs to be said. So here's the deal with mental toughness. People always assume that mental toughness applies only to people that are doing like physical activities, like big athletes, or, people that are involved in stuff that's, boxers and fighters. It's like, you got to use your mind to plow through, some physical pain. And that's part of it, sure. But mental toughness can pertain to, can you get yourself out of bed in the morning? Are you emotionally strong enough to stay faithful in a relationship? Do you have the mental toughness to study when you need to get ready for a test? Are you mentally tough enough to hold yourself to the steps you said you would to reach a certain goal, right? I mean, mental toughness can be so broad in that sense that it doesn't have to deal with,
right,
physical, some physical situation. And so one of the key things is, I think this pertains to all coaching and mentoring and self-help and personal development. It's so much more effective when we operate from a place of love, right? I mean, literally when we are operating out of a place of love and abundance, a mindset of love and abundance versus fear, scarcity, or trying to be hard and harsh, it's so much more effective when we focus on the good, the love versus the bad, the fear, the pain, the scarcity, all those type of things. So right. Mental toughness coaching and mental toughness philosophy very much centers around an idea of love and abundance. There's always more than enough to go around for everybody. How can I help you? How can I serve you? I want to be in service to people. I want to approach them out of love. I want to help them make changes in their life and make steps in their life from a place of love, not from a place of coldness and, cracking a whip on them. That's not what it's about.
So let's pair this with the experience you have of being that, if you weren't on episode 1 or 2 where we kind of described Jimmy's background, let me just refresh real quickly. Here's a guy that probably weighed $150 in junior high, and he decided, y'all, I'm going to the NFL. I'm doing this. And he just decided. There's nothing holding him back. This is the beginnings of, not the beginnings, but it's an illustration of mental toughness and a mindset that Jimmy has had for a long, long time. And it's basically paved his way brick at a time, all the way to catching touchdowns from, I mean, did you catch one from Mike Vick?
Yeah, I caught a couple from Vic, Mark Brunell, Tom Brady, the whole crew.
Right. So winning the Super Bowl, all that stuff. So brick by brick, he's there. And so he's been demonstrating in the athletic venue or field, if you will, a mental toughness that's created massive results and success that people want. Now, only certain people want that. But if you want instant success, or let's just say fast success, and you've already seen this happening with your coaching clients who say, can you help my athletes get to the next level? I'm working with you on my mental toughness for my own success. And I think your client is what, a business guy? He wants mental toughness coaching.
Yes.
And then he's like, dude, this is like, my kids need this. Like my kids need to have this kind of stuff to go on to their next level, whether that's college or just life, right? In the real world.
Yes.
So can you start working with them too? And we also created that distinction that you don't want to be the dude that goes into a gym and says, let me show you how you can get your biceps all tough, right? Or how you can get your speed and quickness all dialed in.
Right.
You want that dude. You're up here, not here, right?
Absolutely.
But you're wearing a coat right now. Your body suggests that you, and your body of work and your physical body suggests, I know athletes because I am one. I know the struggles. I've overcome them. That wasn't easy, but I overcame them. I have a story to tell. And so right away, you have that instant resonance with a market that is seeking you without you even positioning yourself in that market. Is this making sense so far?
No, it's absolutely true. Yeah. I mean, I think ultimately, we need to come out of the gate, kind of in our wheelhouse, so to speak. I mean, you want to present yourself, where you have the most knowledge, where you're the strongest, where you're the most authentic. And so there's no question that, when it comes to high school, college, and pro athletes, there's real credibility there. There's a deep level of knowledge and understanding. There's a lot of authenticity there. And so I totally agree. I mean, that's definitely a good place to start.
Okay. So going back to episode 3, we talked about the So That game. We didn't play it a whole lot yet, but I love this. So if I'm you start with, I teach you mental toughness principles. Okay, I'm interested. Give me some flavor, so that you can perform like elite athletes, so that you become an irresistible recruit and gain the scholarship that you've always wanted and maybe go on to the next level. So you see where we're going with this deeper. Now Absolutely. I'm starting to see, okay, so I'm connecting the dots here. Mental toughness, which is vague, but I get it. Like, mental toughness is good. I know that. But what's it help me getting? Okay, I'm performing like the elite athletes of the world. Okay, that's cool. That charges me up. And what's the payoff at the end? You're playing at the next level, whether that's life, college, pros, whatever it is, right?
Right, absolutely.
So right there, we have a pretty juicy field in which you can play and own. Does that make sense?
No question. Yeah. I mean, I again, like I said, I mean, I've kind of resisted jumping out there, being, a former football player that's, trying to do stuff for, just appeal to former college and pro football players, or high school players for that matter. But I absolutely see, kind of the way that really fits in with ultimately what we're trying to do for sure.
Right. And if you had all the time in the world, you could absolutely go and start with the high level vision of being Tony Robbins. And you'd churn, man. You'd bust your ass, and I know you would get there. It's just that this is something you can put up on a web page and tell your story a little bit and go, done.
Right.
6 figures.
Absolutely. No, totally get
it. So I think the next step is to figure out where which segment you want to address first. It does not have to be the end all be all, whether that's high school. I think that's the biggest market. But that's something you got to check in your gut and say, am I comfortable in that market? Can I see working with high school athletes, not necessarily live in person, but in an online format? With the payoff being, I will help you become irresistible in your next level, whether that's as a recruit or in the real world.
Is that a question?
Yeah. Do you feel comfortable with the high school segment?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things I'm doing right now. You kind of alluded to that earlier, but, one of my coaching clients is a high school sophomore who is one of the better basketball players in the state at his level. And he's got big goals and big ideas about where he wants to go. And so, I'm working with him to make sure that he's taking all the necessary steps to get himself there. Sometimes the talent can be there, the work ethic can be there, the drive and the dedication can be there, but the direction or the focus or the pinpoint, kind of the sniper fire accurate target isn't quite, hasn't been quite developed yet. And so that's one of the things that I'm doing with him, is helping him focus on the things that matter and targeting the things that really matter to get where he wants to go. Okay,
perfect. So this is what you're going to do with this is start thinking about the questions and the desires, the aspirations that Brendan was talking about in HPA, aspirations and pain points, right? So what are not only those kids' aspirations and pain points, but also the parents, because we got to assume that it's going to be probably a parent's credit card that goes in.
Yeah, that's a fair assumption.
Versus the kids. So we have to appeal to both with our marketing, and we have to be aware that both of them are going to be watching this. And so you're going to have some flavors and nuances in how you pitch this, how you make this offer, so that parents hear it just as loud and clear as the student.
Well, one of the things like that his dad told me, for instance, was, he has an awesome family, very supportive. And his dad said, look, as long as my kids are willing to work hard and really, work for what they want, I'll support them. And, we spend a lot of time and a lot of money on the physical part of it, training them and sending them to trainers to get them in shape and get them faster and stronger and what have you. Mm-hmm. Maybe we're missing out a little bit if we're not also conditioning and strengthening from a mental standpoint. And so, he even said to me, there are so many kids in this area whose parents are more than willing to do whatever it takes to help their kids ultimately get what they want and get to the level that they want to get. Maybe they just don't know how to do it. And these are parents who will spend money on sending them to camps and to work out with different trainers and coaches. Yep. Let's also add the mental component, add that mental toughness, right? So that when they get there, they can handle it. I've used this analogy 100 times, but when you see, for instance, in the NBA, a guy go to the free throw line and with the game on the line and he misses 2 free throws, it's not a skill issue. That's a guy who will go in the gym the next day with no pressure and hit 10 out of 10. Yep. It's a mental and emotional issue. He's not strong enough mentally to control his emotions, to put himself at ease enough to let the mechanic, the physical, come out. I've dropped balls before in college and in the pros that it was just a focus, concentration, mental issue. Like I could catch balls in my sleep with my eyes closed. But under certain conditions, mentally, we're not able to maintain that level of focus to control our emotions enough to do what's natural. And that's something that a lot of people, I think, miss out on.
Perfect. So, I mean, the basically your audience is saying, dude, when they become aware of the importance of this, and that's key, that's where your content marketing comes in, is to create the awareness that this is necessary to get what you want or to remove what you don't want, right? That's content marketing. Then they become aware and they're like, well, where are the solutions for that? Who can teach that? I'm here. I own the field, right? Okay, so what does the parent want? Does the parent want the kid to, like, how much is their desire for them to go to the next level, maybe pay for their college versus dipping into that college fund that's pretty non-existent? You know,
Yeah, right,
like how much is that, like, the financial rewards of this on the other end, or and also the sort of happiness and feeling of pride and all that stuff come into a parent's psyche?
I think it, regardless of whether, if you're talking about parents who could afford to send their kid to any college, no problem, it wouldn't even be a thought. I still think that there's, and this, I mean, you've been through the process. There's a certain mentality or a level, a feeling of achievement that comes with, getting a college scholarship. Even if the money's not the issue, when a college or a university says, no, we want you enough that we're going to completely pay for your school. Yep. It's a different level of achievement and level of accomplishment. And so I think, look, this can be said about nearly every parent anywhere, that most parents want what's best for their children. They want to see their kids happy, successful, fulfilled, and enjoying their life and enjoying what they're doing. And so these are parents who are saying, if you can help make those things a reality for my child, I'll pay you for it. I will happily pay you to help my child be happy, successful, achieve what they want to achieve, and that fulfillment that they want to get. I mean, that's pretty much every parent across the board.
This is a beautiful field to play in, because some success coaches don't have the benefit of having a financial reward or potential financial reward on the other end of the work. This one, you can actually tie it to some tangible financial returns, and it's significant compared to what the investment is.
Yeah, no question. I mean, you're talking about in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? I mean, it's almost kind of that, I mean, you'd never market it like that. Like, I can guarantee something, but it's like, hey, right. I mean, but if I can potentially help save you a couple $100,000 in college tuition costs, would you be interested in hearing what I have to say?
Dude, I see your lead generation magnet already. This may even be your homepage. So you know what a lead generation magnet is? This is kind of getting into, of course, your website. Okay. So for everyone who's uninitiated, it's what you, if you go to a website, you're going to exchange your email and name possibly in exchange for. Like, you want the lead generation magnet. It's attracted to you. It's speaking to you. You want that. It could be a little video series, could be an audio, could be a PDF, could be a checklist, could be a report, et cetera, et cetera. But you want that goodie. So you put your name and email in, and you have officially given that thought leader or that expert permission to market to you via email. So that's one of the things we do at Peaceful Media, is help determine what is that killer lead generation magnet, or at least a hypothesis for a killer lead generation magnet. We call it an LGM for short, that will help you get that list built growth fast. So I see this checklist I cover. Maybe it's a video, just like we did with Brendan's. And it's got something along the lines of average college tuition is, let's just say, what is it, about 150K now? Let's just say over 100K.
Yes.
Okay. that's like a little top line underneath it. But the headline is five strategies to become the 5 things you need to become an irresistible recruit. And if it were a report, recruit for college, right? College recruit, athlete recruit. So I have to get the word athlete in there somehow. But you're an irresistible, like you're getting letters. You could even have the headline of get so many recruiting letters you don't have that you need a bigger box. Like you'll need a bigger box for your recruiting letters when you have these 5 strategies.
Yes.
Right. And then you're in that you're going, and like Brendan's, his 5x50 productivity tips. That's what got you into his funnel and his marketing for the High Performance Academy, which he ultimately purchased. Right. So that's how this all works. So if it were a report or whatever, if there's an image and you show this box with recruiting letters spilling out of it, I mean, that is such a tangible, emotional sense of achievement of like, fuck, man, I did the work, and here's my reward. Whether or not, so you're not promising, I'm gonna, do this work and you're gonna get $100,000 worth of tuition coming back to you. You just acknowledge that it's really painful if you have to pay for your college. Why don't we do some things that'll help increase your likelihood of getting that scholarship offer or getting multiple scholarship offers?
That's what it really comes down to in almost everything in this field. I think is never guaranteeing that something will happen. It's increasing the likelihood that you can get there, or increasing the likelihood that these things will happen given you do your part in that equation.
So given the scope of your vision, this might be a little, make you feel a little squeamish, Jimmy, but I would recommend that your homepage has something big about that. Become an irresistible recruit. I'll teach you how, like something along those lines. Like it's specific to this market, while underneath it is remember we talked about yesterday, your signature system, mental toughness framework, whatever you want to, you will brand that, we'll name it. It's your signature system for teaching mental toughness principles,
right,
and getting results. But in this sort of entry point flagship funnel, it's all about that kid's and that family's desire to get that, to get to that next level with their sports career. Right?
Absolutely.
So let's just focus. Let's just focus the whole website and your funnel to that point. And then as you start blowing up, which you will, like you thought I would, then call
the crib, same number, same hood.
then we'll expand it thereafter. But like we were talking about in episode 3 or 2, I can't remember. Brendan didn't start with live, love, matter on his big homepage masthead. Right. He would have made progress, but it would have taken forever.
Right.
It was his entry point product, which is that partnership seminar. I'll teach you how to create partnerships with nonprofits and corporations to help fund your vision, right?
And then that branched off into something totally different, right? I mean, I can already kind of see where you're going. I think it's great. Say that again.
Over the course of 15 years, yeah. But that's a whole process. Then he became the marketing guy, the expert. I'll teach you how to create an expert platform. Then it was High Performance Academy, which is that was his Tony Robbins vision. Right.
Well, and I can see how, because I get people all the time that ask me, they relate my success as a football player, making it, into the NFL. And then after that, I ran for Congress. And then I've been in some, small business type stuff. So people just because of those things view me as somebody that has some good advice or good ideas about careers, their career. I get people all the time that's either say, man, I'm job hunting, or I'm I'm not happy in the job that I'm in, want to change my career. Like, what do you think I should do? Like, what are some things I could do? You were obviously able to make it in a really tough field, and then you transitioned into something else. And so I see totally where you're going with that. I mean, it's like, if people see me helping high school kids get to the next level and get that job that they want, then it's like, well, can you take this same program and apply this to somebody who's, in a job or a career that they're not happy with, and they want to change to something else or achieve something. It's like, yeah, we've got a blueprint. We'll just move it over here.
Exactly. That blueprint, that signature system, that framework that is just, you skin it differently based on who you're working with or which segment you're working with in your audience. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. But, I guess my question is, we talk about kind of the branding aspect of it. And, you talked about that entry point product. And this is a kind of a broader question just for business in general. Is that, I guess, how quickly can you branch off of that, I guess is what I'm saying. Because, a lot of people, it's like you come in and this is your key product. This is what, and then a lot of times, some people will rush the next product, or they wait too long. And, I use the example in my Facebook Live video of a new artist, right, that comes out with an awesome new single. Yeah, everybody's like, oh man, like this guy or this girl, this is hot, man. Like, this is my jam. Like, and then they're like, I want to hear more. And sometimes the artist comes out with something too quickly and it's shit, and people are like, oh, that wasn't really what I was looking for. Or sometimes it's a year later and people are like, man, I forgot about that. So I feel like there's a fine line, even if you're a small business owner and you've gone into business and you launched a product, how long before, you allow yourself to say, okay, well, yeah, this is kind of my key thing, but I also do this and I also do this. How long before you let that evolve?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the answer to that is when people demand it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, okay. And as long as it's in alignment with your vision and you're breathing, because yeah, you're right. You don't want to be pigeonholed as the high school, mental toughness guy forever. Absolutely not.
Exactly.
So and when we're thinking about a long-term business and an empire, which we're building here, you're going to build at the end of all of your courses that you deliver online, you're going to build in exit surveys that I just basically ask, what can I teach you next?
Interesting.
You're going to listen to your list. You're going to listen to your one-on-one clients right now. You're going to listen to your affiliates and JV partners. I remember with Brendan's Total Product Blueprint, his affiliates were like, dude, you have to create this course. My people need it, and you're the best at it. Create the they didn't have the name for it. He named it, but I'm saying that they were hammering his door saying, dude, I'd love if I could market and promote a course that helps people create their products, their online products. And so that was one of his best launches.
So I wonder, because I'm kind of relating that a little bit to right now. I get a couple times a month, I'll get people that message me and say, hey, I've seen some of your videos, or I've noticed this mental toughness stuff you're talking about. I need a speaker for whatever. Could you come in and talk about leadership? How or can you come in? I'm doing a speech in a couple of days in Lewiston to a group of teenagers that are going through a kind of a law enforcement academy, right? It's like a little week-long deal, and they get to see if that's a career that they might like to pursue. And so, I'm going in there to talk to them about, the guy that organized it asked me to talk to them kind of about, the motivation, the moral aspect, the values of it, like those type of things. So he was like, is this something you can talk about? And so my whole point is, people look at, or they kind of think they know what space I'm in, and then they say, hey, I have a need for somebody to talk about leadership. Can you apply mental toughness principles to leadership? Is that something you can do? And then I construct a speech around that. So it's probably similar, right? People are going to say, hey, dude, we need something in this lane.
Yep.
Can you put, a program together with the mental toughness principles? I mean, so, okay. I understand that.
Yeah. And so like when it comes to your website and services and offerings that you're going to have, it's like, if they dive deep enough, they go to your speaking page, you'll have your list of topics. They'll see, oh, this guy's got it all, or this guy's got exactly what we need.
Well, one of the things I think you probably remember me saying this, like one of the things I love about Tony Robbins, and again, the guy's been doing it for 40 years, so I get it. But if you want to talk about money, like making money, saving money, investing money, Tony can help you. If you're just launched a small business and you need help, he can help you. If you run the biggest hedge fund in the world, he can coach you. If you're having marriage problems, Tony can help you with your marriage. If you want to lose 50 pounds, Tony can help you. Dude, like this guy has strategies for every single scenario, situation, problem, issue that could ever come up. And obviously he started with something specific. Like there was, I'd love to actually know what that is. And everything I've seen and heard and watched with Tony, I don't know that I know what his first offering was, or the thing that broke him into the market. But point is, I think all of us have that grand vision where it's like, dude, I want to help people, and I want to be able to help anybody across any spectrum that has any type of issue, right? And so you get all worked up about that, and it's hard to narrow that focus, man, because you literally want to do it all.
I think you're always going to have something unique, whether that's your message, your niche, your positioning, your experiences. Like look at the quadriplegic speaker who talks about resiliency and mental toughness from that experience, right? Like, so there's something unique. And I think in Tony's case, it was he tapped into a unique way of finding his audience with infomercials. And I think he was on the cutting edge of that. So even if he was talking about a broad topic of, help you get results and be successful and, get rid of your negative thinking and, baggage, emotional baggage, blah, 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 blah. Broad topic, new medium, new unique way of connecting with people. And so like in your case, if you can find a way to have Elon Musk take you up to the moon, where you do the first inspirational, motivational speech about how to get results from the moon, then boom, you got a business.
I need to text him. I'll text him when we get off and ask him if there's any possibility of that.
Well, what's up with your homeboy back there on the wall over your right shoulder?
Oh, here? This is me. That's George H.W. Bush and I. We go way back. He's a longtime friend. We go way back.
You hit him up, though.
Good. He actually sent me a Facebook message the other day, and he just said GOP convention ... and then it said shaking my head, like SMH, the little thing, and I was like, W, I feel you, brother. I feel you.
Love it. Okay, so brother, you've done a good job on your BPA. We have some clarity about what we're gonna start with. Cool. That was this whole episode is about blasting into a crowded market. I think this is going to blast for sure. So I think our next steps, so let me feel what you're feeling here, is to start getting a little website up with a lead LGM, a lead generation magnet in place, so you can start building some lists and allow you to have a sort of call to action that stems from your content marketing. So that when you're doing these Facebook Lives or posting things to your new upcoming business page on Facebook, you have a CTA. Hey, if you want to know the five strategies or 5 things you got to have in your daily routine in order to get recruited to the next level, you need to come over to my website and grab my free report.
Yep.
Right. So are you feeling that?
I love it. I love it. Absolutely.
All right. Then we'll make our next episode about getting started with that process. So I'm going to get you a link to Launch 31, and I have created some budget for you in there. I'm going to get you the beta price, so you're in good there. Cool. And that'll get you started on the whole process of building a website on the cheap, a marketing system, really.
Awesome.
Cool, brother. Great episode. I think this is going to help, especially those life coaches out there who are struggling, feeling like, oh man, I don't want to be pigeonholed. Dude, be pigeonholed for a little bit so that you can make some money and then branch out. Take that nugget home with you, life coaches and success coaches with super broad brands, and start making some progress quicker, easier, cheaper. Jimmy, any parting words?
No, man, appreciate it as always. Got a lot of work to do, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, brother. Peace.
All right, man.
Much love.